Although the sporting ladies of that era have received most of the attention in the Cripple Creek history books, the truth is that the vast majority of women in Cripple Creek during that time period were hard-working, God-fearing, respectable Western women. In fact, several Cripple Creek women have received recognition for being pioneers in changing traditional roles for women. One of the first female attorneys in the country practiced law in Cripple Creek early in her career. Daisy Barbi, the second cousin of Cripple Creek historian Mabel Barbi Lee, defended the poor and often represented the abused women of Myers Avenue. In one celebrated case, she successfully fought for the rights of Myers Avenue prostitute Blanche LaCroix to keep her baby. Molly O'Brien arrived in Cripple Creek as a stenographer in 1893. A shrewd businesswoman, Molly eventually became one of the wealthiest women in Colorado and owned several gold mining companies by the early 1900s. She was the first woman in Colorado to have an official seat on the gold mining stock exchange. Dr. Susan Anderson, or Doc Susie as she was known, was one of the first female physicians in Colorado. The television show Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, is loosely based on Doc Susie's life as a country physician in the early West. Susie arrived in Cripple Creek with her father and brother as a young woman of 22 in 1892. Her father was a successful Cripple Creek businessman and sent Susie to the University of Michigan to go to medical school. She returned to Cripple Creek as a physician in 1897 and opened up her first practice. When her beloved brother died of influenza in 1900, she left Cripple Creek and became a well-respected country doctor in Grand County, Colorado. When she died in 1960, at the age of 90, her wish was to be buried next to her brother in Cripple Creek's Mount Pisgah Cemetery. Unable to locate her brother's grave, they buried Doc Susie in a different section of the cemetery. Years later, the citizens of Grand County finally located her brother's gravesite. Rather than exhume her body, they paid for a second gravestone to honor Doc Susie and placed it by her brother's grave. Dr. Susan Anderson has the unique distinction of being the only person in the Mount Pisgah Cemetery to have two gravestones. Molly Kathleen Gortner discovered the Molly Kathleen gold mine in September of 1891. She became the first woman in history to register a mining claim in her own name.
She went down to sign the papers, and they said, well, you can't do this, you're a woman. You'll have to have somebody else sign this. And she hurried up and grabbed the papers and signed it and said, now, you argue with my husband when he gets back. And by doing that, she became the first woman in history to strike a gold claim in a woman's name. So she was pretty quick. However, she couldn't hire anybody. The men would not go to work for her because, well, there again, she was a woman. So she got her son to manage the mine, and he actually managed it clear up until 1949 when he died. However, Molly, she just, every time she came onto the property, the men would come out from underground because of the superstition, and they'd wait until she left, and then they'd go back to work. Of course, she just smiled all the way to the bank. You know, didn't bother her a bit.
The Molly Kathleen gold mine is the only remaining underground gold mine in the area and has been operating continuously since 1891. Now a tourist attraction, visitors to Cripple Creek can experience the life of a hard rock miner and travel 1,000 feet underground on this remarkable tour. The Molly Kathleen gold mine is a living monument to one of the most amazing women to ever work and live in the Cripple Creek Mining District.